Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. You may recognize me from my reaction video.
Whoa.
Yeah, and from that video I had a lot of people asking for my stats and ECs, extracurriculars. So I'm going to be listing my extracurriculars and my grades throughout my school years. So I'm from the UK, so I've got a UK curriculum. So hopefully this will help international students, British students, American students, because extracurriculars are kind of like still helpful either way. And yeah, a bit of background information about me. I go to a state school, and I applied to 10 schools. I got into the University of Pennsylvania, Northwestern University, Pomona College, and I got waitlisted from Stanford. I did apply for financial aid, which definitely impacted my application results. So I'm going to start with my stats. I'm just going to list them from the top of my head. I did my GCSEs, which is a curriculum in the UK, and I got a 9 in English literature, English language, history, drama, biology, and religious studies. And then I got an 8 in chemistry, physics, and maths. What I will say is they place less emphasis on GCSEs compared to A-levels, which I was happy about because I think I definitely put more focus on achieving my best A-level results. I can't believe I forgot to mention this, but I applied test optional, which means I didn't submit the SAT and I didn't even do the SAT in the first place, so I can't comment on that. But what I will say is, if you're applying this year and going on forward, you would have to do the SAT for the majority of schools, because a lot of schools are removing their test optional policy, but there are still schools that are letting you not submit your SAT or ACT. So for my A-levels, I did 3 A-levels and an EPQ. I was predicted all A stars in English, film studies and drama, and including my EPQ. And I got my grade back. Maybe this is helpful for people who are doing an EPQ. I got 49 out of 50. So I haven't got my grade, I've got my mark back, but I haven't got my grade back. But I'm kind of assuming it's an A star because, I mean, the grade boundaries can't be that high. Those are my predicted A stars. I haven't actually got my real results back. So if I get my real results back and they're appalling, guys, this video is getting deleted. So maybe screen record, I don't know, because I'm actually going to delete this video if my real A-levels aren't up to par. So just to emphasize, those are my predicted A-levels, not my A-level results yet, but hopefully it'll be the same. And I also had some people commenting and asking what major I applied for. I applied for English, but if I'm being honest, especially with the schools that I got into, I feel like your major only matters if it's quite like a specialized major. So if you're, I don't think I've actually mentioned this. I committed to the University of Pennsylvania. And specifically for that school, you know, there's a business school, there's a nursing school, there's a College of Arts and Sciences. If you're interested in business but you're confused about which school to apply for, whatever school you pick is definitely gonna make a difference. But if you're struggling to decide between English and religious studies or chemistry or biology, I don't think it's actually that much of a difference. Just to be clear, I don't think it's much of a difference if you have a clear passion for both. But if you're like, for example, you're unsure whether business is your thing and you apply to Wharton when you're applying against people who have a strong passion for business, that's what I mean when I say that will definitely make a difference. But within the same school, if you have an equal passion for 2 subjects, whichever one you pick won't be hugely impactful to your application. Just to emphasize, the US admission system is holistic, so if you're worried about the grades aspect, definitely don't stress too much because extracurriculars are also important. In the UK, there isn't things like rank, but I think I was in basically all of my A-levels, I was definitely in the top 10%. I don't know any specific numbers, but I was like higher up. But I'd say for international students, or for UK students, because I can't speak for all countries, ranking isn't too important because we don't focus on that in the UK. So you don't need to stress too much about ranking. So to apply to US universities, most universities accept the Common App. It's the most common. On the Common App, you have to list your extracurriculars. You only have 10 spaces. So I'll list my extracurriculars from 10 to 1. There isn't any particular way you can do this, but most people put 1 as their best extracurricular. And I roughly followed that. My best extracurriculars, or my most recent ones, or my extracurriculars that lasted for the longest amount of time. So for number 10, I put that I performed in a professional musical. It was a pantomime called Aladdin. And you have a certain amount of words to explain your extracurricular. And I put cast after a county-wide audition, singing and dancing with professional actors, audiences of up to 530, record-breaking sales, and it was broadcast on ITV News. So you also have to put how long you did it and when. I did it when I was in 9th grade, which is year 10 in the UK. I did it on my school break, and I did it for around 19.5 hours a week for 14 weeks. So it was a lot of commitment. 9th place, I put that I was charity leader in my secondary school. I organised just different events for different charities, one of them being Centrepoint Charity. I led presentations to the year group, so around 300 pupils, and £528 were raised. And I just did that throughout the school year, so I put 39 weeks in a year because that's how long the school year is. And then 8th place, I put community service, and that was that I was a volunteer at my local theatre. So I was a volunteer for the front of house team, so I greeted people coming to watch a theatre show. I checked the utilities, I cleaned the theatre, I sold ice cream, brochures, and I was trained in fire safety. And I did this from 10th grade to 12th grade, so year 11 to year 13. And I did it like 12 weeks a year, so once a month I went to volunteer. Okay, and then next I put basically an internship, but I put other club/activity because there wasn't really a specific category to put under, because on the Common App you have to put it in categories. And I put that I was a screenwriter, script supervisor, photographer for the British Film Institute, so basically like an internship work experience. So I was selected to make a short film, and my story idea was chosen from various story ideas, and I received masterclasses from producers and completed a qualification in filmmaking. And I did that over my break, and it was over the course of a week, and overall that week was working for 35 hours. The internship took a week, but to complete the actual qualification it took 5 months, because it was like a whole written project that I had to do. Okay, next up, I put that I'm a member of an award-winning youth theatre company. So I take part in theatre workshops and masterclasses, and I've done it with I've worked with different theatre companies in these workshops. And then I was in a play called A Monster Calls, which required 6 hours of rehearsals a week, and the play received multiple awards. Youngest age you can be part of this youth theatre company 16, so I did it in 11th grade and 12th grade, so year 12 and year 13. I don't know if you're noticing, a big part of my application was theatre, so there's more to come. I put a lot of theatre in my application, but I still wanted to emphasise that theatre is important to me, but I do have other interests. And I don't know if it's just me, but I kept on thinking, oh, there's so much theatre here, so I would highlight other aspects of my of what I did, so you'll see it soon. One of my extracurriculars was theatre, but I put it under a different category, so I was emphasising the different ways that I do theatre, if that makes sense. Next I have community service again. So I volunteered, and I was a youth voice champion for Essex Council. Through this I organised different activities, hosted youth voting events for schools and civil servants that actually led to improved youth services. Next up, so this is 4th, I put journalism/publication. Okay, I founded a health publication that was non-profit that just raised awareness of different health issues and how they affect communities specifically. So I oversaw publications and reports, I led interviews, and one of those interviews being with an NHS doctor. So that's very different from, I guess, my main interest, which is English and theatre, but then it's not because it's journalism, and English is obviously related to journalism, but it also shows that I have interest in different things, but I can connect my main interests with other things, if that makes sense. And then third, I put internship. I had to squeeze them all into one box because I didn't have enough space. So I'm a Girls Association scholar, which offers young girls work experience. And in my time, I had an internship and was mentored by Hearst UK, which is a magazine company. So I was mentored by the Chief Data Officer at Hearst UK. I also had an internship at Pottermore Publishing / Blair Partnership, which is an agency and publishing company. And I was mentored by the head of audio development. And then I also had mentoring with the HR director of the company, Bloom and Wild. So that's 3 mentoring and 2 main internships that I put down. So I did that from year 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's 4 years. So that's why it's so high up, because I was doing it for so long. Like all these internships and mentoring was spread out over time, and my mentoring was 6 months long. My internships were a week long. So yeah, a lot of commitment. Second place, I put social justice, but this is also theatre. But since I had so much theatre, I was like, let me highlight another aspect. So I was a Good Chance theatre ambassador, and I was one of 40 chosen globally to work on a project commemorating the kinder transport. So it was a physical theatre performance, but obviously it relates to social justice. So it was commemorating the kinder transport where Jewish refugees were transported to Harwich for their safety. And this was broadcast on BBC News, and throughout the project I got to speak with refugees and just spread the message of the right to safe passage. So this just shows what's important to me and how I've connected my love for theatre with what's important to me, and also it shows my talent in theatre because I was selected to be part of this. And then first place, I put that I was the chairperson of my school's culture committee. I founded a meeting called African Caribbean Conversation, where I spoke about cultural representation. I organised cultural quizzes and different exhibitions and celebration days. And I did this in year 12 and 13, so 11th grade and 12th grade. And I put it first because it took a lot of my time in school. It was a really important leadership role. I got to start something within that role, and like my culture is a really important aspect of me, and it connects to other aspects of my application, because in my essay, which I will get onto, I also spoke about culture, so it makes sense. So just to summarise, in my extracurriculars list, I showed my main interests, which is theatre. I showed my talent in those interests, and I showed other interests that still show different aspects of me, but still, so it gives an idea of me as a person, because I have different interests, but I think my main talents and focus still come across. And I highlighted different skills, like my passion for social justice and my leadership skills. So yeah, things like that. Now I'm going to move on to honours. Honours was really hard just because it was hard to pick what to put in there, because you only get 5 spaces for your honours, which is basically like the awards you've gotten over your life. Honours were also really hard because it made me feel like I'd accomplished nothing in my life. Like, I would think about my accomplishments, but they wouldn't feel big enough. But I promise you, I was just overthinking it, and really don't overthink it. Anything that you've accomplished from 9th grade till now can count as an honour. So again, I'll start from the bottom. And again, I try to do most important at the top. Still important, but least important at the bottom. So 5th place, I got a school excellence certificate in biology, and was chosen from 160 pupils for my work ethic in grades. And I think this links to my interest in like health that I showed in my extracurricular list, and it also shows like my range. Like I'm not just good at humanities, I'm good at science. And I mean, I don't think you have to show that, but I think it was like an important aspect for me personally that I wanted to show. Then fourth, I got that I was one of 5 shortlisted for a BAFTA acting competition, and I performed a monologue from Misery 1990, and this was a national level award. I forgot to put the level for my other one. It was school level, because I got it in school, and I got this in 10th grade. And then the BAFTA one I did in 11th grade. And then next I did that I got a London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art grade 8, Lambda in short, which is a gold award, and I got it in acting with a distinction. And I don't know what to put, but I put national and international because Lambda takes place in different countries as well, so it's kind of hard to class it, but yeah, that's what I put. And then I did this in 11th grade, so year 12. Second place, I put that I'm a National Youth Theatre member. I was one of 500 chosen from 6,000 plus auditioners for the acting course. I was a bit confused on the numbers for this. I googled it. It could be more than 6,000. It could be a bit less, but it's definitely around that. Yeah. And then I put international because although it's a national youth theatre, people in my class were from different countries, and I was like, oh, this is kind of international. So yeah, international level. And I got in when I was in 12th. No. I got in when I was in year 12, but for some reason I put year 13. Doesn't really matter. It was around the same time. It's a honour, not a extracurricular, so I don't think it's as important. And then first place, I was one of 150 chosen from over 1,000 applicants to be part of the Sutton Trust Fulbright program, and they helped with summer school and admissions help. And I did this in year 12 and 13, so 11th grade and 12th grade, and this was national level. So as you can see, the majority of my honours are national or international level because I just wanted to emphasise my talent and ability on a larger scale, and I think that's, especially for competitive schools, that's really important to show. Okay, so I'm going to be honest, my Common App essay was a bit of a trauma dump. So for the Common App essay, you have to write around 650 words, I'm pretty sure, no more, and you can do less, but I think there's a minimum. So yeah, my Common App essay was very personal, so I don't know if I feel comfortable reading the whole thing right now. Maybe I'll do a separate video about my Common App essay if people really want to hear it, but I'm still contemplating that one. There's prompts for your Common App essay. I chose the prompt that some students have a background, identity, interest, or talent that is so meaningful they believe their application would be incomplete without it. If this sounds like you, then please share your story. So yeah, there's like various prompts for the essay. I chose that one. So I'll read the opening and describe what I spoke about. So the title, I did a title, you don't have to. The title is Now the Veil Flows with the Train. A girl sinking into a white garment, her taut arm extended by her sleeves, reaching out for guidance. She tries to look through her veil, but her view is sliced into hexagons, scattering the picture of what is waiting at the altar. Yeah. If you don't understand it from me reading that part, fair enough, because it's quite metaphorical. I get a lot clearer as I go on. So yeah, my Common App essay was very metaphorical, and I focus on my culture, religion, and mental health. So it was a lot, but it all intertwined and made sense, I swear. So I spoke about my experience growing up in a Christian family in the church, and I linked that to my culture because I went to an all Nigerian church, so religion and culture was intertwined. And then I used the metaphor of a veil to show how I didn't really know myself, and I put on a mask in front of other people. And then as I got older and grew up, I was able to lift the veil and express my full identity, meaning my culture, my religion, and my not being scared to talk about mental health. So I spoke about my experience in the church. I linked it to being Nigerian. I linked it to why I'm so interested in culture and why I am the chairperson of my school's culture committee because of my interest in culture. So as you can see, I linked extracurricular with my Common App essay. And then I also spoke about how when I started to lift my veil, I was not afraid to confront my mental health. And then that's how I found out that I have OCD, and I basically talked about working on my mental health and improving myself, basically. And I linked that to another extracurricular that I didn't have space to list on my extracurricular list. So I was like, I'll put it here, and it also makes sense to put it in my essay. I put that I'm part of the Young Minds Writers Program, which is a program where you get to write about mental health, which is perfect because I have mental health, I write. And then I'm going to read the end of my essay so you kind of get an idea of how I started and how I ended. So this is my last paragraph. Individualizing one of Percy Shelley's views, I say ownership of identity lifts the veil from the hidden beauty of the world. A new perception has been born of my future, and I'm excited to walk down the aisle that is life, to connect with people from various backgrounds, and to find out what fruition is waiting at the altar. So, extended metaphor, I carried it on, but it's definitely got a more positive note. I used a quote from Percy Shelley, but made it my own. So again, linking back to my love for English. Yeah, that's my Common App essay. Hopefully that was helpful. I'd say using a metaphor is really helpful in expressing any idea, because I think even if you think you don't have enough trauma, like there's this idea you need so much trauma, or you don't have an interesting life experience, you can make anything interesting with a metaphor. I'm a metaphor warrior. You can make anything interesting with a metaphor, so I'd really recommend that. It doesn't have to be some complicated, complex one. It could be simple. Mine was a veil. And, oh, I should explain. I mean, not that you see this in the essay, like, I don't get to write an explanation, but since you didn't hear the whole thing, I chose a veil because veils links to my religion, Christianity, like, it's part of weddings, and weddings are sacrament, and it also links to what I expressed in my trauma because my parents are divorced, so veil, wedding makes sense. And then veils cover your face, so it links to me putting on a mask. It's multifaceted, guys, so I'm personally proud of my metaphor, and I think it worked well with my personal experiences, so I wasn't just like thrown in there or anything. So yeah, those were my stats and extracurriculars and a little bit of an explanation of my Common App essay. I really hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, comment them down below. I can also do a video on the specific universities that I got into, because each university requires short answer essays that you have to write for them, so I can also do a video on that. I can do it with Stanford too, but I did get waitlisted, but I declined the waitlist, so I don't know the outcome of that. So if you want to also see that one, I can do that. I will be doing more college related videos, including my experience at the University of Pennsylvania, because just to reiterate, that is where I have committed, and I'm really excited for that. So make sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos about college, more videos about UPenn, and I hope this video was helpful and enjoyable, and thank you for watching. Bye.